Alright, let me give you a quick introduction on how I would write a blog post about chewy chocolate chip cookies. So I would click here to open the competitor analysis and type in the search query I want to rank for. I set up the search language and the search engine and then click Audit. It's going to take a few seconds, maybe up to a minute, as we are downloading the top ranking sites for this search query to extract all the significant ranking factors that we will look at in a second. Alright, so now you can see that I'm getting the top 10 sites that are ranking for the search query on the search engine. I'm getting a content score for each of these sites, and also I get some SEO on-page metrics like readability, word count, image count, and so on. So from here, I'm going to select the competitors that I want to compete with. By default, we select the top 3 sites, but what I would do is I would open these sites manually and review them and see which sites I really want to compete with. But for this example, I'm going with the default and hit apply. So what we are looking on right now is the on-page SEO data or metrics that my competitors follow to make their sites rank. So the idea is to mimic these stats and thereby increase our chances to rank. For example, we should target a readability between 5 and 6. Right now we are at a 10 plus. Well, we actually only have a few words. Let me remove them. So right now we have a 0 grade. Next, we should target anywhere from 1,600 to 2,400 words. Right now we have 0. And likewise for images, headings, and paragraphs. Furthermore, we are looking at the keywords that are most relevant for these sites. The idea again is to use these keywords in our article to increase our chances to compete with these sites. The relevance column gives us a good idea on what we should focus on. And of course, we can exclude a keyword if we think it doesn't fit the overall topic or if it's too generic. For example, cookie dough directly. Maybe I want to exclude this from my SEO content creation, which we are going into in a second. And also we see how well we are optimized. So we are not optimized at all because we haven't written anything yet. But we also see exactly how many times we need a specific keyword. So right now for chocolate chip cookies, we have it 0 times, but we need it 13 times. If I would write it down right here, you can see that this count increases. It's still in the red because we need it 12 more times. And my content score increased from 0 to 1. But you know, it's a long way if we would write a blog post to include all these keywords and hit all these metrics. And that's why all we are doing right here is reviewing these metrics, because we don't want to write all this manually. And then we go to SEO content creation over here. So again, let me remove the keyword from my document. And right here, we first set up the content and outline. It starts with the focus keyword, which was, again, chewy chocolate chip cookies. Let's write it down. Or we can even use AI to suggest a few keywords. So let's try this. Okay, we have a few suggestions. We can ask for more, but I'm pretty sure that I want to optimize for chewy chocolate chip cookies. So I set it manually. Same for the headline. I'm a bit lazy, so I use AI for this one. So maybe I go with bake the best chewy chocolate chip cookies, a step-by-step guide. And lastly, I have to set up my outline. Again, I'm a bit lazy, so I use AI. Do you want to overwrite your outline? Of course. Alright, so here's my AI outline. Of course, I can edit it, and I would personally do this because I always see potential where I want to tweak it. So I go over here. So I can move my headlines around if I want to, change the tags, of course, or even add a headline in between and use AI to suggest me, like fill in the blanks. But I'm not going to do this in this demo video, so let me remove it. I just wanted to give you an idea of the flexibility you get from CopySpace. So next I'm going to select where I want an image, a table, and a list. So for the images, I quickly go back to SEO competitors and keywords and check how many images do I need. So I need at least 11 and up to 17. So 11 images, no problem. So let's just use the first 11 headlines where I want images. Then for table and list, I would manually go over this outline and see where it makes sense. For example, ingredient list and quantities. I would enable list over here and move on to the next step. So personalized voice, this is interesting. You don't have to do this, it's optional, but you can train a voice, a writing style that you want AI to follow. So what I personally like doing is I like to go back to my competitors and open a site that I'm competing with or any other site, because I want to see if the writing style of this site kind of fits the writing style that I have in mind. So maybe go to Sally's Baking Addiction. Okay, I would manually review this. Let's see if I like the writing style. Then I would copy a text sample like this. Copy. Then go back to CopySpace and go back to the part where I can train my voice. Click on Train Voice. And I name this voice Sally. And I paste the handpicked text sample from that website and tell CopySpace to create a voice from that exact text sample. Alright, now I have a voice that I can use over and over again. Of course, I can switch back to default, but for this blog, I'm using the voice Sally. Now for the length and readability, let's quickly go back and see what the optimal length and readability would be. So let's go back here. So the optimal length would be 1,600 words. The readability would be 5 to 6. So let's go back to SEO content creation and set the length and set the readability. Point of view for this blog, I think it makes sense to write in first person. I like using bolds and italics. I'm not going to use a conclusion and I don't want to add a FAQ for this one. I can again review what we are working with here. So I target people who live in the United States, who speak English. I'm competing with 3 competitors. Remember, these are the exact sites we selected, and I'm optimizing for 24 keywords. Again, these are the keywords that we selected over here. If I would deselect a few keywords like this, then of course this count changes to 21. But I want to include them, so let me quickly do this. For internal linking, I can use a link to my own sitemap. Now, I don't really have a blog about cookies, so let's pretend that this is my site and my sitemap. I'm just pasting a sitemap from one of my competitors just to demonstrate that we can use internal linking. And let me validate this. Alright, so CopySpace was able to identify 727 links from the sitemap. So now that I've validated this, I now have peace of mind that CopySpace can use my internal links. And the last thing I do is just click Write Content. Now I could leave the computer and do something fun and come back once CopySpace is ready, or we can go back to the SEO competitors and keywords tab and watch our content score go up. So we now have a readability of 6, which is good. This will change over time because we are now adding content. We have a word count already of 222. We have 1 image over here. Then we have 2 headings. And we are already seeing that some of these keywords are already included. So we are already optimizing for all these metrics over here. And in a perfect world scenario, we would be somewhere in the green once this process is done. So what I will do now is I will speed up the process until it's done so you don't have to wait. And then we look at what CopySpace generated. Oh, by the way, here's already an internal link, which is pretty interesting. All right, the next image is coming. I will be back in a second. All the images were created, so I'm now back on my computer. Let's review what has been done right now. It's still writing, of course, but we can already look at the images here. All right, so yeah, AI enhance, you know the problem. All right, so now it's finished and we finished at 82, which is pretty good, I think. So let's talk about the article and the stats over here. So it starts with the readability. We have a grade of 6 and we wanted something between 5 and 6, which is good. Although we set it to 5, it turned out to be a 6. Well, it's close enough, I would say. And the word count perfectly hits the target, which is great. The images, of course, hits the target. Again, the headings count is in between what we want to target. For the paragraphs count, well, we only have 40. We wanted something between 69 and 104. We can do this now manually. So for example, I could just split these and then I have 41, or split another one, then I have 42. But you know, with all these metrics over here, we have to apply common sense. And then we ask ourselves, is it really that important that we have this exact number of paragraphs? So you should come up with your own conclusion. For me personally, I would not take the time and split it because I think that's already good enough. And let's talk about the keywords. We can see some of these keywords are over optimized. For example, we have 22, we only needed 13, so we got a little penalty. It's not perfectly green. We got a little penalty for over optimizing, but it's still in the green. So I wouldn't worry about it at all. For chocolate chip, it is twice the amount. So I would maybe go in there because it's in the yellow and review it. Same for chewy chocolate chip, a little bit over optimized. But then again, we apply common sense and ask ourselves, okay, for an article of 2,000 words, we have the main keyword or a variation of it 22 times. I will just keep it. And yeah, you can go over here and look if something is red. For example, perfect chocolate chip, it is 4 times the count that it should be. But then again, it's only 4 occurrences total. But then again, apply common sense and, we can just skip this one over here. 4 in total doesn't worry me at all. I wouldn't do anything here, honestly, but it's really up to you how far you want to go with this optimization strategy. For the internal linking, maybe it's a little too crowded here, so I would maybe remove a few. I would manually review them. But for the sake of this demo, let's quickly check the images, which are looking good. We have a few more internal links here. We have the list that we asked for. And yeah, that's my article. And what I can do now is I can edit it right here in CopySpace. And once I'm happy with it, I can then go to publish and publish this article to my blog, which I've already set up prior to this video. And since I'm using Rank Math on my blog, I can enable optimize for rank math, and then I hit publish. Alright, so now that it's published, let's head over to my blog and see how well it performs on rank math. Alright, so looking at my published blog post, I can already see that rank math also says it is a 82 out of 100, but just a side note, this is a coincidence. Our content score is not the same as the rank math score, and from here you can also see that we are automatically adding the focus keyword to the rank math setup, so you don't have to do this on your own. So let me go into edit here and go to rank math. And let's review why it's only, in quotes, a 82. So we match the basic SEO stuff. Additional, let's see, we couldn't find any internal links. Yeah, so let me explain why this happened. The reason is that I used a blog from someone else because I don't really have a blog about cookies. So it counts this as external links. But if you use your own sitemap, of course, it will be counted as internal links. Then it says use content AI to optimize the post. Well, that's a little bit unfair because it doesn't give us the check here just because we are not using their product. But I totally get that they need to pitch their own product too. So I wouldn't worry about this one at all. For the title readability, your SEO title doesn't contain a number. Well, I don't think every blog post has to contain a number, so I wouldn't worry about it at all. Let's check the last one. You don't seem to be using a table of contents. Well, we can fix this. Let me quickly convert to blogs here. And let me add a blog here that is called, let's see. It is called Table of Contents by Rank Math. And now we get the check here too. So now we add a 87 of 100. And yeah, to be fair, I don't think the ones that we don't check are that relevant. So I think we can just publish it as it is. But CopySpace is not a blog about best chewy chocolate chip cookies. So I wouldn't actually publish it to my own blog. This is just a presentation and how we go full circle from researching to publishing and being automatically auto-optimized, let's say, right from the get-go. So we can now, of course, go in there and tweak it and add our personal touch. But I think this workflow is extremely powerful and you will easily crank out 10 of these blog posts a day, fully optimized if you want to. But I personally think quality over quantity here. It's really up to you. Give it a try, follow my process and have fun and yeah, enjoy your day.